draft, I'm gonna start off with Corey. So, all right, you don't need a Corey. What? We're gonna cut out Trevor Lawrence. He's going number one. Like that
Yep.
you're not gonna get Trevor Lawrence. So let's not. He can't be your
No.
dream prospect, right? Because nobody's getting him. That's not happening. So, Corey, two questions, right?
Yep.
What are some of the dream prospects that you would like to fall to? You're like, oh, I can't believe this guy fell. I want to draft him.
For me, there are two dream scenarios here. One, Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech, which I am not optimistic about. And what I'm even less optimistic about is one of the top three receivers somehow tumbling down the draft board. I don't care if it's Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, or Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
I'm cool with all three. But those would be, of course, that would take there needing to be all five quarterbacks going in the top 15. You'd have to have a run on tackles. Yeah, there's just too much that would need to happen for them to get to 21 in Indianapolis. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty convinced that it's a better than 50-50 chance that Ballard trades back from 21.
Like,
Especially after giving up a third this year, a pick next year for Wentz, try to recoup a little bit. There are
stockpile picks.
Yep. Sports Illustrated just did a piece last week about the players that Chris Ballard has drafted from trading back in the draft. And it's like Quentin Nelson, Darius Leonard, Smith, our right tackle, Anthony Walker. It worked out to be like 7 starters and 3 more rotation guys. Yeah. So I think that happens somewhere in the first 2 rounds. The Colts have to take a left tackle, whether that ends up being Darrisaw or potentially Radunz from North Dakota State or Eichenberg from Notre Dame. I would love they got to get an edge help. So if they don't do it in free agency, yeah, I think Azeez Ojulari from Georgia would be an interesting prospect at 21 too. But I also don't think he lasts that long.
Yeah, they were talking about him today on NFL.
Yeah, and at least, though, tackle and receiver, 2 needs for the Colts are deep. So, nobody falls. You can get an Elijah Moore or a Daz Newsome later in the draft. I really like Simi Fehoko from Stanford. I think he is a potential sleeper pick. And, there's some quality depth at those positions. But
so could you trade back and get a tackle and receiver in the second round?
I think so. I could see Ballard trading back completely out of round 1 to the back end of round 2 and getting somebody's first round pick next year. And then, getting a tackle and something else in round 2.
Yeah. All right. Mo, dream draft prospect that will fall to you, right? A couple, you can name a couple. And then give me the realistic. Okay, this person is probably what we're probably going to draft.
So, here are my 3.
Okay.
Kyle Pitts, Chase, and Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State. Those are my 3 dreams. Jamar Chase, wide receiver from LSU.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Now,
yeah,
I don't think any of these, honestly, if any of those top 3 receivers would fall to us, I would run up the card right away. Let me just say that right now. The only way I wouldn't do it is if Darrisaw, the tackle from VTech, is still on the board. Then I'd be like, we got to go offensive lineman. But if both the top tackles are gone, and any of them 3 receivers are still sitting there for us, I'd be like, hey, we don't run up this card right now. If there's any conversation, it's a problem. Like, you need help. You need another receiver. But realistically, I'm thinking Darrisaw's going to be there. The tackle from VTech, he's going to be there. I don't think the offensive lineman from Oregon, he's not going to be there. The dude from Northwestern, he's picking up steam. He's not going to be there. So I think Darrisaw's going to be there for us at that pick because too many teams are going to go wide receiver, offensive lineman, quarterback, or DB. So I think he's going to fall for us. Now, if neither one of them offensive linemen are there, I'd rather us trade back and try to wait for offensive lineman rather than reach for somebody there or reach for a pick there because right now, from a need standpoint, corners a need, but if Surtain in the corner from the other corner from VTech, if them 2 are gone, you're reaching now. You're reaching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're doing a high reach. You know what I'm saying? And the other positions looking at needs, wide receiver, after the top 3, I don't know any other receiver that's really that high on the board to be drafted in the first round. Unless I heard the dude from Florida's picking up steam. What's his name, Tooney or something like that?
Kadarius Toney.
Yeah. I ain't really high on that at 18. If we can trade down and get him, if we're high on him, I'll take that. But not sit there at 18. You can trade back and probably still get him.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with it.
Okay, Craig, Carolina.
I mean,
who's a couple dream picks, man? And who you think realistic?
It's as far as dream picks go, there's not too many that, because personally, I would like the Panthers to take a quarterback. Last year they went all defense, which is cool because the defense was atrocious. So obviously this year they're in the top 8. They need a quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater's he's not the guy. He's just a stopgap. So they need a franchise quarterback since Cam is not there anymore. Obviously, my dream scenario would be to trade some players and try to get Deshaun. Anybody but Burns, Chin, McCaffrey, and more. And if you can get anybody, you can package a deal with Shaq Thompson and I don't know, somebody else. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Package a deal and get them. But obviously, if you can't, then just try to take a quarterback. So other than that, like it's really
like any quarterback did you besides Trevor Lawrence? Any quarterback you're like, okay.
Yeah. Like Justin Fields is the name that comes to mind. Obviously, Zach Wilson would be my top pick if it was, but he's not going to fall that far. But if he did, obviously Carolina take him if they can trade up to maybe get him. I don't really want the Carolina Panthers to trade up. The only time I want them to I want them to trade back. If they can do that, maybe not in the first round, obviously, but maybe just get more picks in the second round, the third round, something like that. Whatever. But I want them to at least get a quarterback in the first round, whether it's through trade to get Deshaun or whether it's just taking a quarterback. Obviously, like I said, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields is my number 2, and then Trey Lance, who I think they're going to take, is my number 3. What I don't want them to do is take Mac Jones. I don't want them to take Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is going to be a solid quarterback, maybe.
Yeah.
But he's just too stationary for me. Like I want them. They need a mobile quarterback there, and Mac Jones is not it. He could, for all I know, he could turn into Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. I don't know. He could be the best quarterback in this draft. I don't know, but it's just like a lot of quarterbacks nowadays are mobile. I'm saying he could be. You never know. You never know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
So I want him to take a mobile quarterback. Now, beyond the quarterback position, like any one of those 3 quarterbacks fall to them, I'm fine with, other than Mac Jones. But other than that, like they need to take a cornerback, offensive tackle. Their offensive line is they have one offensive line. The other ones are all free agents. All 4 of them are free agents. They need an offensive line in general, like just to make it through next year, to keep Teddy Bridgewater and Christian McCaffrey from getting hurt. That's definitely of need. Like taking 2 offensive linemen, if you can't get any decent ones in free agency, like they're going to need to try to build some ones up. Cornerbacks, definitely. Jackson's not coming back. I have no clue. Hopefully they can sign somebody in free agency, just like with the offensive lineman, and just make something happen. A veteran, edge rusher, again, they need an edge rusher, a tight end. All these same positions that I mentioned earlier that they could use from a free agent standpoint, they definitely could use it in the draft. Like I'm hoping that they can, like I said earlier, trade back and maybe get some more picks in some of these other rounds, the 3rd round, 4th round. Whatever it takes just to acquire more picks because they're limited to what they have. Like you can't, I don't see them drafting 3 offensive tackles or 3 offensive linemen in the draft or 2 corners, but they're struggling for those positions. Like fortunately, they released a lot of players to get like 38 million, I believe, in cap space. It's not a lot, obviously, but it's better than where they were. And maybe they can try to use that to build some type of line out of what they have, or build some secondary. Huh?
That's a good amount. You can work with that. That's a good amount of space.
The cap being what it is what it is. But I was looking at some of these names earlier that I recognize, like Alex Leatherwood from Alabama. He's offensive tackle. Like I like guys from Alabama in general because they usually turn out to be decent pros. But Alex Leatherwood is not. He's a dog as far as offensive tackle goes. He could be like a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let me see another guy, Rodarius Williams. Oh, and actually, you know what? I was bugging. Eric Stokes. I like Eric Stokes out of Georgia. I think he's a solid corner. So they definitely could try to get players through the draft that they need. Like I don't want to, but I don't want to see him just going all crazy and just start drafting stupid positions like wide receiver. I don't think they need a wide receiver.
Right. Gotcha.
I want them to see draft for what they need and not just because it's a flashy name on the board that Matt Rule fell in love with during the Senior Bowl or something. I don't want them to draft Mac Jones. If Mac Jones is there and Trey Lance is there, you know what I'm saying? Don't draft Mac Jones. Like, it's gonna be. I really want him to be out of there at that point. As far as I don't want him to be the coach anymore if he drafts Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Give him a couple years and he'll be gone. He'll just do it, sabotaging himself. So that's what I'm saying. I want him to draft players that's going to help the team win, and not just being like he fell in love with this guy during the Senior Bowl, or he looked at somebody and he just he heard whatever from somebody that he looks really good. And you can only do so much evaluating. I understand that. So it's going to be a lot of what you saw on tape, or maybe what you saw on his little pro day or something like that. But I know that Mac Jones is not it. You know what I'm saying? So he should know that too. But he's more qualified, way more qualified than I am. But I'm pretty sure if Mac Jones is there, he's going to mess it up. But anyway, Trey Lance is there. Like Mac Jones, Trey Lance, he's gonna pick Mac Jones. But I hope he does the right thing. But I just hope that the quarterback position, they can't really. I'm not gonna say they can't mess it up, because they can. But if they don't take a quarterback in the first round, like I gotta take a year off. I can't do Panthers next year. I'm done. Like I gotta take a year off. They have to take a quarterback, man. So that's where I'm with it, man. Like quarterback, offensive line, and cornerback are like my three biggest priorities for the Panthers to take in this coming draft.
Yeah, I looked at this. So I'm, watching the football team. My dream is if somehow Justin Fields falls. And one draft, it was, what's his name? Charlie Casserly was like, he's going to drop to 18 or 19. If he drops in, I wouldn't mind trading to get Justin Fields. I do not see that. I was reading up on him today. He just has a problem with every quarterback has a problem with, is reading a defense. Patrick Mahomes just learned how to do that year after. Like you're in college. As far as his toughness and leadership skills and his arm strength, there are people are saying this question is consistency, but I feel like if he goes to a Washington football team, he'd be great. But he's not going to fall that far. Neither is Trey Lance. They're going to be gone by the 19th pick. And I just don't see them drafting Mac Jones. I see somebody trading up from Mac Jones. Because if Mac Jones falls, I wouldn't even get him at 19 because he's going to fall. I wouldn't get him. I'd get him in the second round or third round. I just don't think he's a first-round quarterback. I have other people value higher. Like another dream scenario, if Rashawn Slater falls, the offensive tackle for Northwestern, because every time I look at a picture, he's blocking Chase Young, and it looks good. And every time he'll film, and I like that. But he's not going to fall. He's not going to fall that far. He's not. That'll be, if he falls to us, that'll be crazy. Offensive tackles go on a run in a draft, man. It goes on a run. But realistically, I think we're going to get is Christian Darrisaw, Virginia Tech. A lot of mock drafts having to fall right to us. I hope that's true. I think he's going to be a really good pro. If he doesn't, and we're like, oh, it's not an offensive tackle. I don't know if I have an offensive tackle rated that high. I would definitely like that linebacker from Notre Dame. I've seen a lot of mock drafts where he's around that range. Jeremiah Owusu. I can say his name right. But he's a real rangy linebacker like that. Devin White, you can plug in the middle of your defense. He covers tight ends. He covers running backs, receivers. He's tough, rangy. I like him, but that's if we don't get an offensive tackle. But right now, I see the Washington football team getting a pretty good tackle, especially if there's a run on quarterbacks. But like Mo said, if a receiver's there, if Smith, Waddle, or Chase is there, you have to. You're gonna have to do what Dallas did last year. Okay, we have to pull the trigger. See, you know what I'm saying? You have to, right? That's you'd have to do. We have to figure the rest out. But that's what I would love. But we'll see, man. The draft is very funny. Because some mocks are. The draft is probably. It's predictable, and then it just gets crazy.